So this is how you get rid of grass, and I'll explain a few things. This grass required cutting, and I had to pay a guy for last decade to cut this grass 3, 4 times a month. So then I decided to garden, and if you watch all my videos, you'll notice I've got like 8 gardens, right? But this is a different garden. What happened here was way in the back. You see that? That's a black walnut. And the first year I gardened, it was great. But then what happened was I put felt down because that's how I garden with felt, and I drill holes. If you see my other videos, well, the water went into the felt holes where the tomato plants were, and then this tree here, Mr. Big Black Walnut guy, said, "Oh, I can get in those holes too." And so the second and third year, basically the walnut tree killed my gardens. Walnut trees will emit a poison to kill plants. So then I'm like, okay, I'm not quitting. I'm not quitting. So I said, well, let's do a greenhouse. And so I called the city, and the city said, no greenhouse for you, not in this town. They said you could put a greenhouse way by that garage in the driveway. And so they actually drew up a drawing. They actually had audacity to draw up a drawing with a little 10 by 10 greenhouse, which was permissible, in the middle of my goddamn driveway in the back. It was a complete, I couldn't, like they were making fun out of me. Like I'm some stupid goddamn moron. Oh, yes, sir, Marco, you can have a greenhouse in the middle of your driveway in the back where the tenants park. I'm like, seriously? Are you serious? They actually had the nerve to do that. That was Huron. I couldn't believe it. Now, I'm like 59 years old, so I'm not going to fight with these people. You know what? I'm done fighting. So I'm allowed to have a garden. So I decided to bring the garden back. And this is how we combat the tree. We do an above ground. And so there is approximately 125 pots here. And if you look next to the house, there'll be 2 more rows of 2 and 1 row of 1. And so this will be a 200 pot garden, which will house approximately, most of my gardens, the smaller gardens, do 600 units, either plants or peppers, above ground stuff. Now we have underground stuff too. We've got 4,000 garlics underground, 3,000 onions, but these are above ground. So here, let me get out. Also, you can't sit here and water your gardens with hoses. You'll be here all day long, especially if you got a lot of gardens. So I've installed a system. Let me get out of my car here on a timer. And so right now I'm testing the timer, and there's 3 zones. Zone 1, and that's zone 2 is on right now, or zone 3 on. Looks like zone 3 is on the end, and it's working. And so these are hoses I used last year in a different garden. And if it pixelates, I want to say I'm sorry, but that's the way it is with YouTube and the cameras. It doesn't know where to focus. So this tenant, I gave him half the yard. I thought that was fair for his dogs. So he's got dogs back here. And I got the other half of the yard, the front yard. I'm all about creating gardens in front yards because grass is stupid. It's stupid. Grass is stupid. And I put down filter fabric so there'll be no weeds. And I even put filter fabric in the plants. Okay? I put the filter fabric in the plants and then put wood chips on top, only to conserve water, because this water I have to pay for. Okay? And it's city water, and this water in Huron is very expensive. So I am right now testing to see the maximum and minimum water I can do. Here's my little timer, and I'm surprised it still works. It worked last year and the year before. I just changed batteries. And then this is my typical box that I use for composting. In about 5 years, I'll probably use it when I need it. And look at the difference between the neighbor's grass and my grass. See that line? That's the property line. guess what? We're not cutting grass on this side. We're not picking weeds. We're not fertilizing. We're doing none of that. And you know what? You should do that to your front yards. Every front yard should be a garden. Grass is the stupidest thing on this planet. Now, you don't have to get crazy like me and do all this. There's 200 pots. This garden is probably going to cost, I'm going to guess, with the pots and the timer and mulch and the irrigation system and the sticks and the seeds. Oh, by the way, these are all heirlooms. Baker Creek is my favorite seed company. I don't get any money from them. And I'm going to say $2,000, $1,800 to do this big garden. 500 plants. Well, it's going to be a little more because I'm going to add 60 more pots. So it's going to be $2,500 garden. And but you know what? I'm hoping that I could reuse these pots. A lot of these pots are going on 2 years. A lot of these pots are new, and we buy them online, and we have them shipped to our stores. So you got all the big box stores sell stuff online, and we get them on sale. And you can see how this is working pretty good. See the water, just filling it up, and I'll tweak it later. I don't have time. Also, you know, we were in a rush, so we forgot to put holes in some of the pots. So I just drilled those out today, and I went random. I did some big holes on one side, little holes on the other, some high, some low, just to test it and see what works better. I know I could probably look up a video on YouTube, and there's somebody's got a video on how to drill holes in big pots when you forget. But hey, thanks for coming on. And this will be, my goal is in 2 weeks to have this all done right here with 3 more rows. So hey, thanks for coming on, and I'm going to go work at another garden. I'm going to go plant some cucumbers. Please rate, subscribe. Take care.